Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Megan. Thanks so much for watching. And today I wanted to make a quick video talking about gross motor skills from ages 0 to about 15 months. Before I get into everything, make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell so you don't miss any uploads, and also go follow me over on my Instagram. So the reason that I'm making this video is in the mom groups that I'm in on Facebook. I'm in a May 2019 and a June 2019 birth month group. I'm in a bunch of other groups also, like breastfeeding groups and that kind of thing. And I am constantly seeing posts by moms asking, should my kid be sitting this way? Should they be walking yet? Why are they not walking yet? Why do they walk this way? Or whatever the case may be. So I wanted to make a video going through kind of the basics of gross motor skills and when the child should be able to do these specific gross motor skills and kind of some red flags to look out for. So disclaimer before I get into everything is that I am a licensed physical therapist in the state of Florida. I am a pediatric physical therapist. I work probably like half and half in developmental pediatrics and also orthopedics. So I see a wide variety of kids on a daily basis. I also used to be an early steps provider in the state of Florida, which is our early intervention program. So this is kind of my area of expertise, and so that is why I wanted to also make a video. Also, another disclaimer or caveat, if you will, is that if the child is born before 37 weeks gestation, they get a little bit of an adjustment. So what that means is if the kid was born at 36 weeks, they essentially have an extra month to be able to catch up to get those things. So if a child born at 36 weeks, let's say they are 12 months old and they are not walking yet independently, that's okay, because I really would consider them an 11-month-old when I'm looking at gross motor skills. So they do get a little bit of an adjustment, and it is kind of complicated in that way. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below or message me over on my Instagram, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But I will say that I'm only licensed in Florida, so I can give you like general advice, but if you live in a state other than Florida, I cannot really like be your physical therapist per se. So just, you know, take that for what it is. If you have concerns, bring them up to your pediatrician, ask for referrals, advocate for your kid, because not all pediatricians are created equally, and some of them will kind of drop the ball occasionally. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into these gross motor skills. So I took some notes on my phone just to make sure that I didn't miss anything, and I just want to give you kind of like what I'm looking for. So between like 1 and 3 months, babies should be able to bring their hands to midline like this if they're on their back. They should be reaching for toys laying on their back, kind of batting at toys, hanging off of like a floor mat mobile thing. What is that even called? A play gym? That. They should be able to pretty easily reach up against gravity. That is like the main thing that I look for. If they are not doing that, that is a red flag. If they are laying on their back and their head is specifically tilted to one side and rotated to the opposite side, that's also a concern, especially if you see any changes in their head shape, or if they are unable to come to the middle in the midline, they're stuck in this tilt, that's a problem. If they aren't able to look to the other side, that is also a problem. That needs to be brought up to the pediatrician. Okay, so between like 2 and 3 months, if you put them on their side, they should be able to roll to their back. Around 3 months, baby, if you pull them to sit, so you take them by the hands and pull them up to a sitting position, they should be able to tuck their chin. If I can find a picture of this, I will. But if not, hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. Between 4 and 6 months, they should be able to roll from their belly to their back. So if you're playing in tummy time and they get really mad, they should be able to roll themselves over and get out of that position. And they should also be able to prop sit for about 20 to 30 seconds. So that means sitting with placing their hands down for support. They should be able to stay there for a little bit pretty easily, especially by 6 months. So between 5 and 7 months, they should be able to roll from their back to their belly. If they are not able to do that, there may be a reason for it, and that may be because of trunk weakness. It could also be that they are just like an observer and they're not super motivated to roll over, or they hate tummy time, which is part of my next thing. Around 6 months, they should be able to tolerate tummy time for like 10 to 15 minutes. They should be pretty comfortable playing in that position. They should be able to push up on their hands and extend their arms out or straighten their elbows and be able to reach for toys. At this point, at around 6 months, they should also be able to sit independently, no hands, no boppy pillow behind them, for about 30 to 60 seconds. And if you are someone interested in baby-led weaning, being able to sit for a minute is part of like the requirement to be able to start offering solid food. So sitting by 6 months is pretty important. So between 6 and 8 months, they should start army crawling. So that is kind of on their belly and on their elbows, like an army man. Obviously, that's why I said army crawling. They should also start getting up onto hands and knees and rocking back and forth, because between 8 and 10 months, they should be able to crawl on their hands and knees. And around 8 to 10 months is also when kids start pulling up to stand. If a child is not able to crawl on hands and knees, or they are not pulling up to stand by that 10-month mark, that's when I start to get a little bit nervous and would most likely recommend physical therapy for that child if I were to evaluate them. So crawling is really important to being able to transition. So if you aren't able to crawl on your hands and knees or get up onto hands and knees, generally there's not going to be any way that that kid is then going to be able to pull up on furniture, which would be like the next progression of things to do. So around 9 to 11 months, I expect kids to be cruising furniture or walking and holding on to furniture. And I also really would like to see them standing up from the floor without pulling up on furniture. 11 to 12 months, they should be able to walk with their hands held, either both hands or just one. And then the normal range for walking is 12 to 15 months. So don't quite freak out if your child is not taking steps by themselves at 15 months, as long as they are doing all of the other things. So if they are pulling up on furniture, walking with their hands held, walking with a push toy. By the way, if they can walk with a push toy, then they can also walk without the push toy. Reason being is that if you can control the forward like speed of the push toy while you walking, then they really are just using that push toy almost like a security blanket in a way. Some kids just need a little bit of confidence to be able to take those first steps without holding on. And then other kids just don't care and they will be sprinting, you know, without it. So, and then I kind of wanted to skip way ahead, because really for me, as long as you're doing all of those things and walking pretty independently, or at least taking steps independently by 15 months, I don't really care about much else until 24 months or 2 years old, however you want to look at it, because by then we should start jumping, which is also really important, because that means they can use their legs to create quite a bit of momentum, and they have power with their muscles. So I wanted to next talk a little bit about what it looks like when babies first learn how to walk, because I hear a lot of times that parents are just really concerned about how they're standing or how they're walking. So when babies first learn how to walk, their feet are really turned out and pretty spread apart. This is how they keep their balance. So the wider the feet are apart, the more the feet are turned out. That gives them a wider base to stand on. And so around like maybe 3 months after they start taking those steps independently, what you will notice is that their feet come closer together, and their feet also turn more into a neutral, straight ahead position. The other thing that you'll notice is that their arms will kind of be up here to start out with, and then they will gradually kind of lower down as they get more comfortable with walking. The other thing that you'll notice, and I recently on my Instagram had an interaction with a mom about her kid standing much better when they were holding their cup. And the reason being is that when you bring those hands to midline and you have something that you're holding on to, it allows your core to turn on a little bit better and stabilize a little bit more, so it makes it easier to stand. So just a little tidbit about that. So I kind of went through everything super fast. But again, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below or message me over on my Instagram. But I think that's going to be it for this video. If you have not already, please subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like button. It really helps my channel out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!